party people. It's me. I'm Nat from Twiniversity, and today we are going to talk about our Twin Ready registry because I know that probably a few of you have bought things that you don't need. 100, like I would say 100% of you, if you already started putting stuff into your house, odds are you don't need that. And for the whole class, I'm going to tell you about what we need to have now, and we're going to talk about some stuff we get later. But all told, this event is entirely so that you guys could feel better about the registry situation. My kids are big. They are 20 years old. One of them is at a thrift shop right now. I actually am away for the first time with one kid. And like I said, they are older kids, they're 20. This is the first time that I've ever taken a vacation with just one. So I am in sunny South Florida. We went snorkeling this morning. It was beautiful, but you guys are my priority. Really, I've been working from like 12 to like 4, but then I totally will go back to party mode. Just letting you all know that. So don't text me after 4 because it's going to be just me and Tito and Anna time. And you guys know who Tito is. If you know, you know. Okay, kids. All right, so we're going to jump right in. We have a lot of stuff that we're going to cover today, but first of all, I wanted to tell you these are the things that I want you to have. So if you do not have a glass of water with you, if you do not have a pen and paper, and if you don't have your phone, or if you're watching this on your phone, hopefully you know how to take a screenshot because we're going to be putting some QR codes in during the class. And so if you're watching on your phone, it's kind of tough. But if you're watching on your laptop or your desktop, then go get your phone so that you could screenshot the QR codes. We should be sending you links to almost all of them later, but some of them honestly are really just for our live people, just letting you know. So for those of you that are watching on YouTube right now, I'm sorry you missed us. Wah, wah, you snooze, you lose. Nothing I could do about that. But if you're in another country and you're missing it because of this, then I'm really not trying to make fun of you. I feel bad. But hopefully you have those items, and that is all that you really need for this class. Now, if you do not know Twiniversity, if you've been living under a rock, which I don't think many of you have because you're all having twinnies, these are just a few of the things that I am. So right now, for poops and giggles, I almost said the S word, but I don't know if there's tiny ears watching right now. These are a few of the things that potentially I could be. Right now, the very first game that I want to play, because, hey, we're talking about stuff. I like to play games. I don't know if you've been to a Twiniversity event before, but out of those pictures, what pictures of those represent who I am? Okay. It's a tough one. All right. So we're going to take a minute and we're going to give away some prizes too. So right now in the chat, pop open your chat, and out of the pictures that you have there, pick the things that most identify with me. This is how I know if you're real Twiniversity followers. If you just started following us, I'll let it slide. Just guess. Honestly, like I tell my kids, just guess. Don't leave it blank, because if you leave it blank, you're definitely going to get it wrong. You know what I mean? So whoever wins this, and we will be playing some games. Can we get your screen bigger? You can get my screen bigger. Hold on. How about this? I pin it. You could also pin me, but now you should be able to see me bigger. Did that work? Thumbs up. Nursing expert, like it, Victoria. See where you're going with this. Okay. All right. So pop it in there. I'll give you a few more chances. And whoever guesses the most amount of these items first, we're giving a free Twiniversity class, which is pretty good. So lady, I don't know what her real name is. You are definitely a lady boss, but now is it bigger? So let me know that it is, and then you'll be good. Danelle, mom, yes, that's a good one. See, this is what I mean. You guys guess whether you're wrong or right. It's okay. You have to take a chance, guys. That's how you get to do it. You jump on in there. I like it. I like where these answers are going. Interesting. All right. I'm giving you guys 5 more seconds. All right. Okay. Last one. I do love it. Opie, come on. You know that I'm going to have to do that. All right. So we're going to pick our winner, and I'm going with Stephanie, who has lactation consultant and car seat inspector. You have guessed the most. So Stephanie, email us after at community@twiniversity.com, and we will get you signed up for that free class because that is the bestest. All right. So here's what I am. Guys, look. So I'm a public speaker, right? I am an author. That was the quill For those of you who don't know, that was a little pen, old school style. I am an advocate, first and foremost, for twin parenting, not just here at Twiniversity, but genuinely, if you give me a microphone, I'm going to talk about how nobody pays attention to us because nobody does. I am an international board certified lactation consultant. It's honestly one of the most humbling experiences to get that kind of certificate that I've ever done. It was actually significantly more difficult than going through 4 years of college, and I'm not even kidding you. I am an educator. I love teaching people. Once again, give me a microphone. I will teach you something. Yell at singleton families about how they should not say they know what it's like because they have two kids 11 months apart. Please stop talking is what I need to tell them. I am a twin mom. Like I said, my twinnies were born back in 2004. And literally the day they walked into kindergarten in 2009 is the day that I founded Twiniversity. And I am a big podcaster. So if you guys don't know, the new season just launched last week. Did anybody listen to it? Put in the chat if you listened to it. It was with Kale Lowry from Teen Mom, who, by the way, has twins. Don't know if you know that. Did you listen to it? Because it was really super freaking funny. I admit I never saw her on an episode of that. So it was interesting because I only interviewed her as a twin mom. I didn't really care about the teen mom stuff as much. So go in and listen to that. But the new season did launch and it was pretty awesome. I love taping our podcast because I love being able to like dive in to with you guys on different twin topics. Okay. All right. Before we even do this, right now in the chat, guys, tell me how many weeks pregnant you are and where you're calling from. So literally be like, I am, 19 weeks pregnant and I'm in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Love it. Where are you? Who are you? Like, I want a little bit of background. Lady Boss, 9 weeks in Fort Myers. Drive down. I'm just in Hollywood Beach right now. I'll meet you halfway. I'll drive up an hour and a half. Look, we got Canada. We got Bayonne in the house. Word up. Vegas. Holla, Allie. I love it. Dublin. Danelle, I'm coming your way. I actually may be able to meet up with you. I will be in Dublin and Cork at the end of this month. Sincerely, email us at community@twiniversity.com, and maybe I could even bring you some stuff from the States if there's something that you can't find there. I would love that. That would be really great. Winnipeg, I'm into it. Guys, look at us. Look at where we're calling from. New York City, Steph Holla, hold my island down. So yeah, so now that we have that, I also want you to see people that are expecting it around the same time that you guys are, right? So I got Amanda, I got Stephanie, you guys are all in the same kind of pod. And then Sonia, you're really out there in Georgia, like literally 33 weeks. You're doing it. You're 1 week away from my delivery, but you're going to make it at least 47 weeks with your twins. You're going to be as big as a house and it's going to be wonderful. Enjoy the silence. And when they're on the inside, okay? Oh, that's so exciting. I love it. All right. So now we're getting back into class, but I always want to know where you guys are calling in from or joining us from because it's really unbelievable. Like we're going through the same stuff, no matter where you are in the world, it does not matter. We are all twin parents, whether you're breastfeeding in Tibet or you're breastfeeding in Tribeca, same thing. Whether you are buying gear, we're still going to spend a poop ton of money. Let's start to make that a little bit easier for you guys. Okay. So here's a little timeline for you guys. If you missed this portion of your registry experience, don't get nervous, just catch up. But at week 12, I want you guys to start doing your homework. By week 18, though, since a lot of you are a little bit before 18, that's when you start signing up for your accounts if you haven't yet. If you didn't, sign up for every single registry that is out there. So even Walmart has one, Target has one, Babylist, Amazon, everybody. And register for stuff, but you don't have to tell anybody about any of these registries. The cool thing is that when you register for especially the in-store ones, often they'll give you like a registry completion program. So if somebody didn't get you what you needed on your registry, they may give you 10% off. And it's a weird like backdoor way of just saving 10% on stuff. So if you add items to your registry, even like extra Dr. Brown's bottles or adding an extra pump or adding some extra clothes or onesies or burp cloths, add all that stuff to your registry so that if you did need it, you know automatically you're going to get that 10% off. Okay, so it is really worth it to register at all the places, but then choose specifically which one you want to point your friends and family to. Because if you point them to too many different places, like literally, like if you're like, here's my Amazon, here's my Walmart, here's my Target, it gets a little muddled. And that's where companies like Babylist or My Registry come in because they kind of consolidate all of those and make it easier. But there's still a lot of people that, truthfully, baby list can be a little bit of a pain in the patootie. Don't know if you guys have seen that yet, but for purchasers, it's not as easy as you think it is. And we want this to be really easy for people who are going to spend money on you. Like, we want it to be as flawless as possible. So going with something like a Walmart or an Amazon or something like that. I think for my Dublin, you guys have Tesco, right? So I'm going to check that out, by the way, when I'm there to see what kind of baby items are over there. But just think about that. Register for everything, but only promote the ones that you think are going to be the easiest for your family. Okay, like if your family is not a big online family, then maybe you do Target or Walmart because they could walk into a store. But if you're like, no, we're everywhere and they're going to ship to us, then maybe consider something like Amazon. But think about that. And then also, when building your registry, you want to make sure that you have enough items in each price point. So you don't want to fill your registry with like $500 items, because Carol from accounting, like, she wants to get you in the 20s a little something, but she can't spring for it, which is fair. Carol works, she's a single mom. She's done this all her life. Who's Carol? I don't know. I'm making her up. But just know that we want to have items that are under the $20 mark, under the $50 mark, under the $100 mark, and then anything over the $100 mark, really make sure that you really freaking want it. Okay? Because also, like at work, some people may chip in and buy you stuff, and then only put on your public registry the things you want other people to buy you. Save that 10% registry for one of the stores that you're not going to publicly promote. You guys understand what I'm saying? So that when, like, if you're going to be like on your baby shower and you're going to be like, go to my Amazon registry, don't fill it with diapers and stuff. I'm not saying that we don't want people to buy diapers, but you could get diapers anywhere and you could get them on sale and you'll be fine. But like the actual items that you're like, crap, this Love to Dream swaddle or whatever the heck it is, like, this is a lot of money, I want them to buy this. Make sure that you are putting enough of those on your registry, but not too many so that not everybody gets you the $30 gift instead of going to the $50 gift. And I'm not saying any of this to be greedy. I'm really, really, really not. But I do know that people really want to be generous when you have 20s. So you have to make sure that everybody's going to be able to afford something and that nobody feels bad that they couldn't afford something or not. Okay. We don't want people choosing between their electric bill and your 20s. That's a tough one. All right. So let's just put small, medium, and large. Think about that, different items, and really stretch it out and make sure it's things you really, really want. And you're not adding items to your registry just to make it filler. Okay. You can add stuff like Twiniversity classes, believe it or not, lactation help to registries, depending on which registry you want. And also remember that, truthfully, if you need anything from us, if you need us to do a registry review with you, just let us know. Once again, you email us at community@twiniversity.com, and then we will help you. Like, if you're like, I can't, and I have a crazy family, they're all over the world. If you really have specific questions, we will walk you through the process. It's not that bad. Okay. All right. Then at week 24 is when we want to start getting the word out. I really, really, really prefer that you don't go too early. Because if you start telling people too early and you start making changes to that registry, they're going to only go in that early date when you didn't finish your registry. So by week 24, you need to have everything on lock, like literally zip it, lock it, put it in your pocket, call it a day. So by week 24, which is really like the medical big milestone, that's when you want to have everything on there. You want to start telling people. But if you add stuff, people who came to your registry at 24 weeks may not be coming back at 34 weeks. All right. So make sure that before you tell people, everything is on there. All right, if you guys haven't seen this, we do have a Twin Ready Registry Guide. I'm going to give you a link to it. Now, this is something that is only going to be available for the time that we're taping our class today and a little bit after, so you guys have a minute, because I don't want you to leave the screen in case you guys got left out or whatever. But that is the link to our Twin Ready Registry. So we have an entire gear guide specifically created with a lot of the information we're going to talk about today, but really, like, it's like the captain of checklists. It's every checklist under the sun that you could possibly imagine. So we do registry checklists, but then we segregate it by like species of item. I don't know why I'm using that word species. It's just kind of fun. Instead of like type, I'm going to just go with species today. But know that we really did put this together for you, and it has a bazillion links. So if you're like, I need to know which one of X, that's where the links are. I don't put them in this class because it would just take too much time. So no, it's there for you. Grab that link, pop it open in a different window if you need to, or just literally take a picture of it and we will come back at another time. Okay. All right. So we do have that for you. Now, this is kind of one of the pages that you're going to see in there, and this is kind of how it's separated. So when we're looking at like, how do we start building this? Like, what items do we need? We really are going to tell you how many you need of those items. You're probably going to get a little pissed at me because we don't specifically tell you which items of that to buy, because a lot of it has to do with your budget. Right. So, like, if you notice, like, when we talk about strollers, we're really, really, really modest about talking about strollers because I don't want you guys to think that one stroller is better than another unless we genuinely think it is. So, I'm not just going to be like, hey, check out, Bugaboo, which, by the way, I don't ever do that. If you look at Twiniversity, you will never see Bugaboo. If you're like, hey, check out Vista, for those of you right now, add a big womp womp if you already bought the Upper Baby Vista because it is a bad twin stroller, guys. That's a 1+1 stroller. So any items that you see us ever talk about at Twiniversity, yes, we may be sponsored by that company, but we're sponsored by that company because we went after that company. That company did not come to us and say, here's $11. Could you talk about us? In 16 years that I am doing this, I have never sold out for as much as a penny. Nothing. And you will never see that because at the end of the day, the person that's responsible is me. And I don't want you guys being like, Nat's an idiot. Why'd you tell me to buy that? That will never happen at Twiniversity. So I would rather take it out of my family's mouth to make sure that you guys made good decisions. And one of those things that I'm talking about is the strollers. So when we talk about strollers, I really think, is it globally available and is it at a price point that everybody could afford? And if it is a little bit higher priced, what is the cost versus the worth of it? Right? Like, am I going to get my money's worth out of it? Okay. All right. I say definitely a big no to Upper Baby. 100% have told them in person. I love them. I give them kind of a hug and a kiss, and I do a drive-by. I have a wonderful relationship with Upper Baby, but they don't make a good stroller for twinnies. That's just it. They make their 1+1. And this is why Twiniversity exists, is because the whole world is telling you what's good for twinnies when nobody has freaking twinnies but us. This has been my plight since 2009. Okay. All right. So going back to kind of starting your homework, when you're looking at items, there are things that you need. There's things that are nice to have. There are things that you should borrow and things that you should skip. So when you're looking at any list at Twiniversity, we do separate it like that. So then you're like, okay, is that something that I should buy new or borrow? If it says borrow, go start looking on Facebook Marketplace and see the other 20s in your area. You do not need to buy anything new except a crib, a mattress, and a car seat. That's it. Everything else could get secondhand. So no matter where you are financially, and yes, of course, I know this is a registry class about getting people to buy you new stuff, but just know, yep, everything is in the gear guide. Just know that in all sincerity, if you're doing this solo, like you are a solo mom, and you're like, I'm having these twinnies, I did a single embryo transfer that split into two, and I'm a little bit screwed. You don't need anything new except a crib mattress, a car seat, and a crib. Those are the 3 items that are deal breakers, in my opinion, because regulations and expiration dates. That's really the big reasons for those, especially the car seats. Every car seat has an expiration date. So even if you have bigs and you're trying to use that car seat for now your new coming littles, you have to make sure that you check that and make sure that that car seat is not expired. And if you're like, what the heck, how's that happening? Most car seats have a lot of styrofoam insulation inside of it. And if you guys ever took down like holiday ornaments from your attic that is not temperature controlled, after a few years, it starts to get grainy and it just doesn't function the same. And God forbid we had a car seat that was expired, it's not going to function the same. And I really need to make sure that your twinnies are safe first and foremost, right? Which is also why the crib and the mattress safety is our paramount, most important thing that we need. So when you're looking at our items, just know that we do separate it into nice to have, borrow it if you can, skip it, or should be covered by insurance. That's a new thing that we added because a lot of you guys don't realize that a lot of shit is covered by insurance and you're paying money out of pocket. So if it's covered by insurance, should you really, a question for you guys, if something's covered by insurance, should you still add it to your registry? Boo doo doo doo. Thumbs up, thumbs down, hearts. Give me some kind of feedback. All right, Victoria, come on. Yes. You're saying yes. Emily says no. Jemima, what do you say? Braden says no. Irene says yes. Look, I like it. I like when there's varied opinions on these things. Izzy's no, Katie's no. All right, guys, it's a no because we're going to let people spend money on things that we can't get for free, right? So if it's covered by your health insurance, do not add it to your baby registry because you will be able to get it covered. So breast pumps, some breast pump bottles, believe it or not, literally not kidding you, can be covered by insurance. Any tubing, any flanges, a hand pump, things like that, all covered by insurance. So back in 94, when we had the Affordable Health Care Act that went into play, all these things, it was mandatory unless you have a plan that is grandfathered. And doing this now for over 5 years, I've only seen 4 plans that were grandfathered, and all 4 of them are people at the United Nations in New York City. I've never actually seen a grandfathered plan that didn't have that. So does the gear guide also have items needed for mom or only for babies? It's mostly, so Jazz, I'm going to call you Jazz because we're best friends. It's mostly stuff for your babies. For stuff for mom, like that would be on like our boob camp thing, because we do have gear guides that are separated for everybody. And we really don't combine them. Don't get mad at me for that. But I don't want to give you guys information that you don't need. So we don't include stuff for the boob camp in the gear guide because there are some moms for, either they have breast implants or honestly, who cares why they choose not to breastfeed? That's none of my business. But I don't want them giving stuff which they think inadvertently I'm trying to make them feel bad. I'm really, really, really conscious to always make sure that you guys are the ones that are at the wheel of driving this car and not me just telling you what to do. I want to be involved in the decision-making process if possible, but I don't want to make decisions for you. So yeah, so our gear guide is totally a separate animal from our boob camp, from our Twin Ready, not that this is the Twin Ready, from our boot camp and boob camp books are totally separate. Okay. All right. So just know that is how it is separated. And now if we'll take a look specifically at week 19. If we look at week 19, this is how we kind of make it. So diapers, you got to have them. Can you steal enough from the hospital? I go with yes. I say yes, you can steal enough diapers from the hospital if you just ask. So when you're buying your diapers, you also should strongly consider how much it costs per diaper. All right. Because I'm doing some homework, like Cordery, it comes out to like 55 cents a diaper, where Kirkland, we could get it down to about like 17 cents. So really do your homework and look at what the item cost is going to be, because even though people are buying you this stuff on your registry, eventually you're going to want more of that item. So what is that costing you? But the items that you definitely have to have a good amount of are those diapers and wipes. So diapers, you're looking at least one closed case that is in backup in addition to what's already open. And please also remember that as the babies get bigger and as your diaper size gets bigger, there's less and less in a box. So there's going to be many more diapers that are size newborns than there are size 4. But by the time you get to size 4, hopefully your shopping will be a little bit easier and you'll be like, yes, I know that we could go through this size box from Costco, whatever. But just know that the diapers and even wipes, it doesn't always match up for how many is in the box. Okay. So baby wipes, is there such thing as too many baby wipes? Hell to the absolute no. There is no such thing as enough baby wipes under the sun. If you are somebody that's worried about your carbon footprint, you are barking up the wrong tree when it comes to baby wipes. This is going to be a Sophie's Choice bad decision. What are you going to do? Yes, you can use cloths. If you did use kind of washable cloths, you would need, I would say, humbly, I'd never even thought about this. If I were to say how many cloths you would need to replace a baby wipe, we're looking at about 16, 32. So we're looking at about 50 a day is what you should have kind of stacked up. So just know, yeah. Are there items we should start buying at 19 weeks? Emily, no, you don't buy anything ever. You need nothing. Do not start buying shit. You will run out of room in your house. Wait for people to buy you stuff first and then fill in the blanks kind of thing. But baby wipes, at least one closed case. You're not just going to use them for diaper changes. You're going to use them to wake up your babies when they're breastfeeding. You're going to use them to clean the milk out of the crevice of their tiny little neck and hopefully their chubby little thighs, which get so many rolls in there and they get so filthy. It's like they roll around in the mud all day. What do these kids do? They're disgusting. So you're going to use baby wipes for all of that too. You definitely want to have some baby wipes in the living room, some of the kitchen, some of the bathroom, some of the diaper bags, some of the car. There's no place on earth that baby wipes are not welcome. Okay. Put them everywhere. Everybody loves them. I love them. I have some here. I don't have a baby. Why do I have baby wipes? Because I use them for my makeup. That's why, because it's just water and it's nice and clean and I prefer it. All right. Now, one thing that is on here is that the cord blood banking. Now, this is a partner from Twiniversity and it's a partner for Twiniversity because I swear to you, it is one of my biggest regrets of twin parenting. So I delivered early, didn't know any of these things existed. If you have not thought about banking your twins' cord blood, you really should consider it. All right. We have what we have here. Do I have another slide that says that? Hold on, please. Is this one? Yes. So what we've done here is we've been working with CBR for over 15 years. And instead of us giving us a commission on each sale, we actually ask them to take that commission they would have given us and give it to you because banking cord blood for twinnies is pricey. But when we give them back basically what we would have taken, it comes to almost a 2-for-1 situation, which is really freaking nice. So know that you could use the code DUO2, DUO2. I will put it up in the chat. DUO2, the number 2. And when you do call them and you use that code, you basically will get the Twiniversity pricing, but in all sincerity, it's for all twins. This is not a Twiniversity secret. We have negotiated this on behalf of the world. Because in all sincerity, my 2 times now, when my twins were little, I would have actually used it when my son was probably in about first grade. So that's a different story for a different day. And then weirdly, my husband, he has an issue and one of the treatments for this issue is stem cells. And they actually asked us if we banked the baby stem cells, which I was like, what? People are really doing this. So now that's 2 times in my life that I would have happily spent $2,200 easily to bank my twinnies cord blood. And I would have been able to use it now for my husband. So in all sincerity, if you have not looked into it, I'm not saying you have to do it, right? This is just my regret. I'm not projecting onto you, but at least know the information. You could call 1-800-cord blood anytime you want. There are people there to answer questions. If you have questions for me just on kind of this side of the table, like I'm not a medical professional, but I do know that we've actually had quite a few Twiniversity families that have used their stem cells. Just know, go for it, call CBR, get the information. You could always decide what to do later. But if you're wondering why we work with CBR, it's really 2 reasons. Number 1, they don't accept payment until they know they have a viable transfer. So if you were going to bank your stem cells, they send it to the processing plan first and they make sure that you actually could use them in reality instead of just throwing them into a cryopreservation tank and nobody ever freaking knows. The second reason is they have something called a newborn possibilities program. And this newborn possibilities program is specifically for families that have a genetic history of certain disorders. They bank for literally nothing. And so they want the clinical research and they do a ton of clinical research. So they're really kind of the big players in that game. So it's called a newborn possibilities program. So if you have like Hunter's syndrome in your family, for example, they will bank for free. And God forbid, knock on wood, your twinnies ever use it, they're going to use the clinical data that goes along with your stem cells. Okay. So that is why we work with CBR, and hands down, first and foremost, I would go with them for above everybody. And very interestingly, there's actually another huge cord blood company that's owned by a twin family. So I do feel like a little bit dirty talking about CBR, but honestly, they don't offer the same things that CBR does. So like I said, you guys come first. So this is why we play with them. Use the code DUO2, but sincerely, if you have not had that discussion with your doctor, please genuinely do. And going back to good stuff, because I don't want you to worry about bad stuff, because nothing bad is going to happen. Everything is perfect. And there's no reason to think anything else, in all sincerity. But when we're thinking about room for 2, these are the items that I'm going to talk about now. But specifically, I want to talk about cribs and I want to talk about gliders and rockers. Okay. So let's go and jump into that. So when we're looking for cribs, I need you guys to all be very aware that there are actually many different kinds of cribs that are available. And if you're going to register for an item sight unseen, you need to read the fine print. And what those fine print is, like what that fine print says is this a standard crib or a mini crib? And why that's important is because the mattress sizes will actually be different. Many twin parents often are like, well, I'm not going to get two standard cribs. That's going to take up too much room. I'm going to get two mini cribs instead. No, please don't do that. And here's why. Because they grow out of the mini crib. And then where the hell are we going to put these kids? So if you really are tight for space, could you fit one standard crib and one mini crib? Like, would that work? Because that would be a better way to do things. And so what I mean by kind of the standard crib is it's just a crib that's just a crib. It's not turning into that convertible situation that's down below. Now, if you're like, Nat, but doesn't it just make sense that we buy a convertible crib? No, it doesn't. Genuinely asking, not even for a friend, not even being silly. How many of you know anybody whose kids moved out of their house using the headboard on their adult bed that they had on their crib? I'll hold. Okay. This is literally what they're telling you. They're telling you, hey, you're going to have a crib for the rest of your life. This is going to go from a crib to a toddler bed, and then it's going to convert into a headboard for your kids to use when they're older. Do you know how disgusting your crib is going to be by the time your kids move into their own apartments where they need their own bed? It's hideous. The amount of just macaroni and cheese vomit that I had to scoop out of little crevices of the cribs. And do you know why? It's not because I was feeding my kids mac and cheese when they were babies. It's because parents of twins, we use cribs longer than the average bear because it contains them. So we want them to be in a crib and a sleep sack. Those kids can't lift up their foot to put it over the crib. So they're not going no place. So we tend to use our cribs with all the sides up, all four sides up longer than a singleton family, which also singletons, good luck to you, Knuckles. You could go run after a kid who wants to get out of bed. Twins that get out of bed together. Now, literally, you have a gang. You have a gang situation that the National Guard needs to be called in. So we keep them confined as long as possible until they're able to make good choices. If anybody knows what age that is, please tell me, because mine are 20 and still making shitty choices sometimes. Pardon my French. Okay. All right. Do kids need toddler beds, or could they jump back to the crib from a crib to a bunk bed? Steph, you're speaking my language. We went from a crib to kind of a toddler bed that I bought for $60 on Walmart.com, and then went right into bunk beds. But I didn't want to go right from a crib to bunk beds because I needed them to learn how to have a little bit of self-control. I needed to see it more than them, because when I put that kid on that top bunk, are they going to be stupid and going off the top rope like a WWE wrestler, or are they actually capable of making good choices? Right. So we went basically from cribs, maybe toddler beds, for like, I don't know, a year and a half. That's all that we did. And we went right to bunk beds because in Manhattan, I live in the world's tiniest apartment, and there was no place in the world that I could ever put two twin mattresses in their bedroom when they were little. Okay. So when you are looking at what you're going to buy, try to buy a crib that's nothing but a crib. But when you're buying that crib, make sure that it does have the variety of sizes. I'm not what sizes, heights. That's the word that I'm looking for. I just was challenged by that. And why it's important that it has the different heights is because, let's say, like, I'm close to 6 feet. I am a giantess. If you ever see me in person, you will be like, holy shit, that's the one thing. Like, everybody who sees me is like, I didn't realize you were so big. Yeah, because you guys always see me when I'm sitting on my ass, just sitting here. Like, I am a giant woman. So when you see me, know that I could reach any level of any crib on any day. If you're 5'1", and you just had a C-section, there's no way that you're going to reach over that crib without hurting your C-section incision if it is on the lowest setting. So finding a crib that has separate different heights, which typically it's about 3, is very important, especially if you're on the more petite side. Even if I did end up having a vaginal delivery, but even if I had a C-section, like I would not have been able to do it. You can't touch that bar. Like, your belly can't touch that. If you got to bend down and pick them up, yes, you may have a bassinet. Yes, you could get a pack and play, but not everybody does. Right? Not everybody does. So I want to make sure that all the equipment that's in your house is functional for you to help your babies. Okay. Not for your partner, not for your mother, not for a nanny, not for anybody. You have to be able to use everything that's in your house. So making sure that you get a standard crib with multiple heights is the way to go. You could get a good crib for about $120. No joke. Look at Delta, look at Da Vinci, even look at Walmart.com. There's a lot of companies that make really great pieces of equipment. Delta above first and foremost, truthfully. And then there's another company, Sorelay. We just saw those. I think that was like $160. We saw some of the new colors that are coming out when Amanda and I went to a baby show at Vegas. But know that you don't have to spend a bazillion dollars and you get what you pay for, right? If you're going to get a crib that turns into a bookshelf, when the kids are going to go to college, you're going to pay more for that. You don't need to pay more for that. We just need them to be in a safe place right now. So Victoria said, can a toddler bed, crib can be a toddler bed if you take the side down, but they use the same size mattress. Yes. So thank you very much, Victoria, for Steph. The standard and the convertible are both the same mattress size. The only thing that needs a separate size mattress is a mini crib. And if you get a pack and play that you want them to use kind of on a longer term basis and you're looking to get a mattress, that's a different story for a different day, but know that that would be an additional size as well. Okay. When you're buying these items, not only do you need these items, you need the mattress, you need the crib, but you need sets of sheets. So when you're looking to buy sheets for your 20s, you want to have at minimum 3 per baby. And you actually want to start thinking in 3 in general. And what I mean is that when you have a set of 3, you have one that's in use, one that's in backup, and one that's in the wash. So whether you're buying onesies, hats, socks, mittens, no matter what it is, you want to get at least 3 swaddles also per baby. So why I don't say 6 per baby is because maybe you're having boy girl and maybe you're really sensitive about not having him wear pink or her wear blue. Entirely up to you. So when you're thinking 3 per baby, you could be like, okay, I'm going to get these 3 that are teddy bears playing basketball for Johnny, and I'm going to get these 3 which are ducks and ballerina outfits for Anna. Go for it, but you want to do 3 per baby. Okay. Anybody have any questions about cribs before we go on to our next section? Stunning. Okay, so moving along from there, we are going to talk about rockers. Now, rockers, this is my forte, man. Like I'm like a boobologist, as my kids call me. So if you are buying a chair to breastfeed your 20s, you're not going to fit in a friggin' traditional rocker, guys. There's no way. You don't fit. You don't fit with a twin breastfeeding pillow, whether it's the My Breast Friend or Twinsy. It does not fit in a traditional rocker. You can sit on your love seat. That's cool. But if you are like, I'm insisting that I sit in the baby's room to breastfeed, which I also don't recommend because why the heck are you going to be in a room 24 hours a day? But if you're insisting on getting a piece of equipment like a rocker or a glider, you have to make sure that it's a chair and a half size. Little Castle makes one. Pottery Barn Kids makes one. There's one on Walmart.com as well. But know that you do want to get kind of the extra wide, and not saying that we think you're extra wide because you're perfect no matter how wide you are, but you're not fitting with that twin breastfeeding pillow. Okay, kids? So if you do have the space, you may want to opt for an extra wide lounger like the one that's pictured there. This thing is insane, but you're going to love it and get it sooner than later because you're probably going to have the last trimester of your pregnancy and you're going to be sleeping in that chair, especially if you're somebody who's got a little touch of the apnea going on when you lay down in interesting situations. You may want to just start sleeping in there. Okay. So if your room allows and your budget allows, that's another thing to consider. You don't have to look at traditional places like to buy furniture. So you don't have to go to Pottery Barn Kids. You can literally go to Lazy Boy or Ashley Furniture or Rooms to Go or City Furniture. I don't care where you go, but go and try it out in person, ideally, and feel free to freaking bring your breastfeeding pillow or have you and your partner sit next to you. Okay. Living spaces. Allie, thank you. What about the arms resting on wider chairs? So Gabby, the issue with that is that when the arms rest on the chairs, it actually puts the pillow up too high and the babies are closer to your neck than your nipples. So that's not going to work. All right. What that no to no, it's definitely get a twinsy if you want a twinsy. I'm not saying anything about a breastfeeding pillow. I love both of the breastfeeding pillows equally. I do think that the twinsy is a little bit easier to use if you are on the more petite side. The My Breast Friend, it's a foam filled pillow. This wasn't supposed to be talked about in this class, but we're throwing it in anyway. The My Breast Friend twin pillow, it's a foam filled pillow, so it's firmer. And so if you're tiny, like my daughter is 5 feet, like she couldn't use that. She could only use the Twin Z because her torso isn't built. Like it's not tall enough. So she doesn't actually have the torso room. But there's plenty of 5 feet people that are mostly torso and have tiny mini legs, right? And there's also some giant people that are 6 feet tall that are mostly legs with a tiny torso. So get what fits you. But no, the Twin Z is mushy, where the My Breast Friend is firm. That's kind of the biggest difference between the two. Both are really comfortable. I don't really have a preference on either. They actually both work really, really good for our purposes of boob feeding. Okay. All right. We're going to play a game now. Who's ready to play another game? It's me. The game is, and I have a number. I'm going to write it down so that you know, well, you're not even going to know if I wrote it down like now, but know that I really did write something under my paw. How much will you spend to diaper your twinnies until they are fully potty trained? Put in a number, okay? Put in a number, and what do you think it's going to be? And we're talking diapers, wipes, we're talking swim diapers if necessary, overnight diapers if necessary. We're going the full gamut because the average age for a boy in the United States to be potty trained is actually 4. So think about this. How much will you be spending? Pop it in the chat right now, and the winner will be winning a copy of What to Do When You're Having Two, or Twiniversity class if you already have the book, so don't get nervous. All right, so we got some answers here. Look at this, guys, your oral. So Jemima said 7. Katie said 75. Brendan said 12,000. That is high, but I'm going to go also want to say we're going to go with Pampers brand, not super high, not super low. So if you want to give me another guess, I'll take it. Okay. Not saying that like you're fine to do either, but if we had to pick a winner, bum, 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 it is Katie at 7,500 because the winning number is 7,400. 7,400 is literally what you are going to get. So Katie, make sure that you message us at twiniversity.com, at community@twiniversity.com, and we will get you hooked up with that. All right, so good news. If you have you get the book or the class, it is exciting. But I do have to move on, but I do love playing games so much. All right, guys, so going back to feeding. Now, we were talking about this before, and we were talking about how some stuff could be covered by insurance. So, right, like, so lactation support is covered by insurance. Your double pump, which, by the way, please do not get a freaking wearable pump. If you get one free pump from your insurance company, do not make it a wearable. Please do not use a wearable pump for at least the first 30 days of breastfeeding your twinnies. Like, literally get like a workhorse, like the Spectra, like the Medela, like the Lancino, Motif, I'll take that guy. There's plenty of big guys out there. You do not want a wearable pump. You want like a significant machine that's going to help you get this milk out for any reason if the babies can't. Okay. But I do want to talk about a bottle washer, dryer, sterilizer. So this is important. And you are going to want to have something that is going to sterilize all of this equipment for you. So how often should you sterilize your breastfeeding parts? At least once a day. Your bottles, ideally, truthfully, almost every feed. If you're formula feeding especially, and especially because they're using a nipple, like in the very beginning, they're using kind of that slow flow nipple, and there is some backwash that goes in there. So you do, especially if you have preemies, you want to make sure that everything is sanitary. So getting a washer, dryer, sterilizer is pretty important. Okay. You want to make sure you measure your counter. You want to make sure that you have appropriate wattage that's by your sink if you get one that needs to be by your sink. And I'll tell you more about that in a second. But in addition to that, you will need to have bottles as well. I'm boob person. You got to have bottles. All right. I know that people are like, oh my God, nipple confusion. It is BS. That's not a thing. All right. And I will tell you, in the 16 years that I am playing with twinnies, we pacify our kids quicker. We use bottles more often, and our kids don't have any more breastfeeding dysfunction than singletons. So there's definitely that's been That's an old wives' tale. I just want to literally wipe off your chalkboard for you. Okay, so when we're looking at bottles, we do want to stick to the same type of bottle. Yes, you're probably all going to get the bottle variety pack from Babylist that everybody does. And I'm going to be like, take those two, throw those in the garbage, take that one, put it up the shelf for later. But this is the one you're going to use now. The one that I tell everybody to use now, it's not a shocker. It's Dr. Brown's, and it's not a Twiniversity thing. Dr. Brown sells more than 30% of the bottles in the world. That venting system, that green tubing venting system is no joke. And because they're the only ones that have the patent on that, it definitely makes it a lot easier for twinnies to bottle feed. And you're going to want to bottle feed right out of the gate, because breastfeeding, I want you guys to do it one at a time. I don't want you to jump into tandem feeding, because if you get overwhelmed, you're going to be turned off by the idea. So you bottle feed one, you breastfeed one, and then we work out this magical little system, which I will help you do that if and when you decide to do that and it's time and you need some support. I will always be here for you. But when you're buying bottles, the biggest mistake that people make is they buy the 2-ounce bottles, the 4-ounce bottles, and the 8-ounce or 9-ounce bottles. Why? Your babies are all going to be needing kind of like the bigger bottles at some point down the line. If you're breastfeeding, in all sincerity, odds are your babies are going to never go over 5 ounces. That's a whole different topic for a different day. But if you're formula feeding, they have to have X amount of calories per day. And because the calories in baby formula are fixed, they will get up there and they will have an 8-ounce bottle. So, and we don't know what the future is going to hold. And if people are going to be buying us stuff, let's have them buy us stuff that's going to last the longest amount of time. So you want to buy 16. I know, I don't want to hear it. Yes, that's a lot. I know, guys. You want to have about 16 bottles, and you want to get the 8-ounce size because you're going to eventually use those anyway. Okay. Dr. Brown's, hands down, whether you get the tall or the wide neck, I'm equally as in love, because it's the venting system that I'm really after more than anything else. Okay. The other thing that you have to look at is, like, if you want to buy one of those twin feeding chairs, like the table for two, you need to start really looking for that, because even if you want that and you want it shipped, they're back ordered so frequently that you want to order that sooner than later. Okay. Sonia, I'm going to say this is where you could totally veto, and genuine reminder that my word is not law, but I am not a fan of glass bottles for many, many reasons. Number one, the majority of people who use glass bottles end up using them with a silicone sleeve. The silicone sleeve, between the silicone sleeve and the glass, you actually could get mold buildup, which is kind of gross and nasty. And the other thing is Sonia, you're going to want these 20s to hold their bottles as soon as possible. And glass bottles are so heavy that families who use glass bottles end up having 20s that take a longer time to hold their bottle, because they just don't have the strength that a BPA-free plastic bottle does. So, but once again, my word is not law. If you want to go glass, also know, if you're going to ever put your kids in daycare or some kind of preschool program, they do not allow glass bottles. So you're going to have to end up getting a BPA-free plastic bottle anyway. So don't waste your money on those things unless you're like, I'm going to stay home. I don't mind holding these bottles, which is great. I'm in it. But no, those other reasons are why people typically go for the BPA-free bottles. Okay. All right. So going back to the feeding chair, you really do want to make sure that you order plenty of time in advance. If you end up getting one secondhand, you may still want to get a new cover for it. So you're going to have to place that order for that as well. If you get a feeding chair that does have movable covers, and even if you get the Twinsy pillow, you're going to want to have more than one cover so that you don't have to use like the raw pillow if and when you need to wash that cover. Okay. So always think about that too. You don't need 3 of each, like don't go crazy, but it really is a good idea to have a few of them. Okay. So these are the bottles that I really want to look at. These are the bottles that I mostly use in my lactation practice, which is, I do see singletons. I don't want to talk about it. Please don't make me feel judged, but I needed 1,500 clinical hours. And now I've painted myself into a corner in New York City with singletons. But twins, you guys get my best spots always. But why I like these bottles is that whenever you're buying any baby bottles, you want to fill a triangle. I'm sure you guys have seen this on TikTok because it's taken up and went crazy. but you want a bottle that's going to, the nipple is going to fill a triangle. So if you made a triangle with your hands, you'll see that when the baby is putting their mouth on it, they have to open it wider. The wide neck is actually a better example. I just think these are kind of easier in the beginning, but then I just kind of contradicted myself and said, just choose one bottle. But I like the way that our babies, instead of like the even flow, their mouths are really, really tight and closed. And if you're going to do a combination of breast and bottle, we want them to be able to open their mouth much wider. Okay. So yeah, I don't have a bottle with me to show you, but just know we got to fill the top of that. But that venting system is really where it's at. All right. Now, this is what I was talking about before. Everybody seems to be like super hot on the Mom Cozy bottle washer, but one of the biggest pet peeves that I have with the Mom Cozy bottle washer is that you need to put the tube into the sink. So if you're going to put this anywhere in your counter, anywhere in your kitchen, like the Bretza could be anywhere. It could even be on a second floor. So if you're like, my nursery is on the second floor, if you want to wash the stuff in the baby's room, like this could go anywhere because it has a dirty tank and a clean tank. Where the Mom Cozy has to have that tube. So you're going to have to either put it in a bathroom, or you're going to have to put it in the kitchen or the laundry room where you may have a drain, but you need a drain. For any other washer, dryer, sterilizer, Bretza is the only one that has like those closed tanks. So we've been playing with them for years because, in all sincerity, they make great products. And this is another one of them. Okay. All right, so the Papa Lily can wash 8 at a time, but the Bretza can only clean 4. Which one is good? The Bretza actually could clean more than 4, depending on which bottles you're getting and what the setup. If it's Dr. Brown's, you could definitely do more than 4. Also, the Papa one, look to see what the height is, because typically it can't wash flanges. That's my understanding. So if you're trying to sterilize your breastfeeding flanges, you need something that has the taller height, and this one gives you that. Okay, so look at that, but also look to see, once again, if what the system is for getting rid of the dirty water. Because of course we could fill a tank with clean water, but where's that water going to go after? So yeah, the Bretzer, the Bottle Washer Pro is just my jam, but it is 88 minutes, but you don't have to use all of the settings. So technically you could hand wash and then put it in there to sterilize. So we don't have to do it all in that. All right, now moving to the out and about. We were talking a little bit in the beginning. If you joined us from the beginning, we were talking about like the importance of having, new car seats. You definitely got to get new car seats. There's no getting around it. But when it comes to strollers, you're going to have multiple strollers, no matter what anybody says, right? So, let's go to car seats first. When you're buying your car seats, you have to think which car seat is going to be best for your family. So there are 3 different types of car seats that are currently about, well, 4, but we're only going to talk about these right here. So we have an infant car seat, which are like you guys see, everybody's coming home from the hospital with like a little bucket of a baby. That's the first one. The second one is a convertible, which is going to go from, basically newborn stage all the way through the time that they need a booster seat. And then there's an all-in-one that's going to go even past the booster experience. And some of them even go from like 4 pounds to 130 pounds. Like, it's pretty impressive how big these car seats go. Now, in the beginning, if I was like, hey, we have all the money in the world, we could buy whatever we want, I definitely think getting 2 infant car seats is the way to go, because that's not only going to be their car seat to get them from point A to point B. It's also great if you go sit in the backyard, you could put them in the car seat. When you're going in and out, like let's say you come home from the doctor and everybody's taking a nice nap in the back. If they were in a convertible car seat, I have to literally take them out of the car seat and put them into something. Whereas if I have an infant car seat, I unlatch it and take it into the house. Also, the infant car seats, weirdly, it's a great bottle feeding positioner. So in a jam, you basically secure both of those car seats, like car seat here, let me go here, car seat, you sit in the center on the floor, bottle, done. Like, we can use it for more things than we need to. Also, if your babies are born a little bit early and the doctor recommends that they need to sit in an upright position for 20 minutes, a car seat's a great place for them to sit after feeding. So you could put one in the car seat while bottle feeding the other one or breastfeeding the other one. And we know that they're on a nice incline so that they're digesting quicker. And the reason why, for those of you who are like, why do doctors even say that? The little flap, the sphincter at the top of their belly, is one of the last things to mature on any baby, of course, not just twinnies. And when our babies are born early, like the majority of us are, that sphincter is not like a closed door. It's like a screen door in a hurricane. And so because it's so loose and wiggly, because it's not fully matured yet, our babies have more chance to spit up. So if they're going to spit up more, we leave them on an incline post feed. And when we do that, they could digest quicker. Okay. All right. So that's just one of them. And also I wanted to tell you, I know it's going to come up in the class, but just know that we are bringing back our live class. So if you were like, I didn't know that, I want more tips like that. We have 2 nights filled like that. And it's covered by some insurances. So just know I'm going to give you the information. Actually, let me just do that now before I forget. But we have a 2 night class. It will not be, you will not see a coupon for it. So don't go and look, guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, that is our 2 night class. And the reason why you won't is because we limit the amount of families that take that class so that you guys could ask questions. Like we can't have 20 families in that class. I'll never be able to have like an actual Q&A, but that class is very much like a live class, like an actual few-hour discussion about having 20s. Yes, there's a set curriculum, but at the end of the day, like all the stuff that I'm talking about, we go into great, great, great detail, especially when it comes to feeding. But know that I am a child passenger safety technician, currently not certified because I let it lapse. Let's not talk about it. But just I still have that education. And I do know that having these car seats we need that. I mean, it's the law in the United States, so we have to have a car seat. But which one you get is the question. So I'll tell you what a lot of people do, especially if you're going to have grandma help a lot or you have 2 different cars, they get a set of infant car seats and a set of all-in-one. The end, case closed. They register for both the all-in-one and the infant, and the all-in-one is the one that you leave in grandma's car, that she can take the kids out in and out. She's not going to be as much of a rush like you might be getting to and from daycare or to and from the doctor. When they're on grandma's clock, they have a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more freedom, so they could take a little bit more time. So know that that's the all-in-one. If you were buying this yourself, and you're like, I don't have anybody, I'm not going to have a shower, then maybe consider the all-in-one because it really is the best bang for your buck. Okay. But there are infant car seats that are out there that are $70 that are hardcore legit. And anything sold in the United States had to pass the National Transportation and Safety Bureau. So it has to pass federal regulations. So if you see a car seat, like everybody right now is getting like the freaking Uppa and the Nuna, that's great. That's nice. But that's $400. That's $800 for car seats. Like I don't want Pam from accounting spending $800 on car seats when I'm only going to use that item for 4 months. Not 4 months, 7 months really is what we're looking at, about between 7 months and 9 months, depending on the weight of our 20s. So think about what you're putting on your registry and what people could buy and how you're going to get that. Yes, it might be trendy. Yeah, that's cool. A Kardashian uses it, but that's not a twin thing. That's like a millionaire thing. Like, let's leave that for them. Good for them, but that's not our lives. I would rather, and this is going to sound really crazy, and you're going to be like, Nat, you're psychotic. I am. Spoiler alert. But I would rather you get $250 car seats with a total of $300 investment and take the rest of that money, the $500 that you would spend, and put it into one share of Apple or one share of an S&P 500 index fund on the stock market. Because if you take that $500 right there, it's going to be insane by the time your 20s are old enough to cash out. But don't spend money on things you don't need to spend money on, because I'm telling you guys, kids aren't freaking cheap at all. They just get more expensive. Yeah, you're making a big initial investment in gear for your 20s, but it's not going to end here, but it is going to end here for what people are willing to buy you. So think long term, like what items could I buy long term? So those all-in-one car seats are a great item to add to your registry. Now, when it comes to strollers, I poop you not. Parents of twins have more strollers than the average pair. You're going to have multiple strollers. There's nothing you're going to do about it. I don't even care if you're like, Nat, we have no room for it. You're going to have strollers. So these are the strollers that are currently available for twins. I'm going to go from upper left all the way to lower right. Okay. So upper left, that's a double side-by-side umbrella. All right, that is going to collapse into a really narrow, it's going to fit in a trunk easy. It's great for grandma and grandpa's house. You could even hang it behind a door if you live in a tiny New York City apartment, but typically they don't start at birth. They start at about 6 months plus. The next one that we're looking at, that is a traditional side-by-side stroller. Yes, that can start at birth. That's anything under the sun, like companies like Baby Jogger, Valco, Britax had one, Baby Trend has one, like everybody and their brother has a double side-by-side. Those can start at birth, but they don't always start at birth. So if you're going to use this out of the gate, you need to pay attention to that. Also know, yes, there are some like the Bumble Ride Indie Twin that you can attach to car seats. But if you attach two car seats, does it still fit through a standard doorway? So you got to do your homework on that. And you got to look at things like that. Like if there's extra accessories, does that extra accessory need to be removed if I'm going through the door at my doctor's office? Right? Here in New York City, or when I'm in New York City, those buildings are really freaking old. And you're like, I cannot, there's actually plenty of doors and libraries that I can't get through in New York City with a double side by side. So just something to think about. But ultimately, I do think it's a better choice because you don't have to choose what baby gets the better seat. And when you're using a side by side, you could virtually push it with your belly while throwing goldfish on top of your twinnies. Whereas if I have an inline or if I have a tandem stroller, I have to stop to attend to that kiddo in the front. I can't just throw goldfish at them. I mean, you can, but most of them probably will end up on the street. Okay. Does the stroller need to have compatibility to fit two car seats? No, I do not think that that is a good idea. I think you should get a twin car seat carrier. The best one, hands down, is Baby Trend. We're going to talk about that in a second. And the reason why it's the best, it's because it's the freaking only one. Literally, we've even asked other companies like, hi guys, does anybody recognize that they're the only people that do that? I don't mind. I love Baby Trend. We've been working with Baby Trend for a really, really, really long time. But I do have a thing with people that have a monopoly on stuff because then I think that they try less hard to make it better. Weirdly, though, I will tell you, Baby Trend doesn't do that. Anytime we've ever called them and said, hey, could you modify this a little bit? That basket could be up a little bit higher in the back. Truthfully, for the last 16 years, anything that we have requested from them on the Baby Trend double snap and go, they've actually changed it. That's kind of crazy town. Like it's just us, but it's not us because I'm not doing it. Once again, that megaphone in the beginning, I am your advocate. So if you guys have a feature that you think needs to be changed, I will happily call the CEO of a company. And truthfully, I have access to all of those people. I'm considered a peer to them, right? I'm truthfully, like, I'm not trying to be like, hey, look at me, but I am saying like, hey, look at me. If you have a problem, let me help you. So that is that. Now, if we go down to the next row, we're looking at a tandem stroller, and a tandem genuinely is one that is in front of the other that are on the same length. If one is higher than the other, like the Vista, let's say, that's called an inline. But if a stroller isn't made with two seats and you have to buy a second seat, it's not a twin stroller. It's not a twin stroller. I'm so sick of the stroller companies telling us, look, guys, like literally this year, Amanda and I went, and even Silvercross was like, look, guys, we made you guys a stroller. I'm like, no, you didn't. You made a stroller for a singleton and then you gave us sloppy seconds. No, I'm not spending my money on you. Pay attention to us or don't. Don't tell us that you're going to do something. And you and I both know that that's not a twin stroller. But they do this a lot. So when, as twin families, of course, I am so sensitive to this because this is what's happened to me for 20 years. When my twins were little, every company was like, oh, we have a twin stroller. No, you don't, Paul. That's not a twin stroller. That's a 1+1. Okay. If the stroller can't hold the same weight in both seats, please don't even pretend that it's a twin stroller. Okay. If one seat holds 50 and the other holds 20, we both know it's not for us. All right. So look into that and make sure that you make a good decision. And I'm sorry that if you bought the Vista and you're like, Nat, why are you shitting on the Vista? Because it's not a twin stroller, guys. That means that neither of your twins are going to be able to take a nap when they're wearing hard-soled shoes because you can't recline two of those seats at the same time. You're going to end up buying something. And that means that you miss the opportunity to have somebody else buy you something that's going to get you to kindergarten. That's where I get sensitive. I'm a little fighty today. Could you tell? I like it. I enjoy it. It's called way too much coffee at the diner. Now, next to the tandem stroller, we're looking at a wagon. So that wagon, we do Larktail, hands down, best wagon in the world. That wagon could hold a car. I feel like that wagon could be used as a tow truck if necessary. It is insane, the capacity that it has, and it could actually hold four freaking kids, which means that when you have your second set of twins, and please don't tell me that that's not going to happen because it's happening to one of our Twiniversity team members right this very second. Spoiler alert, it happens a lot. Look at #twins2twice on Instagram and you'll see what I mean. So when you have that second set of twins, that's the only vehicle that you'll be able to take around your neighborhood with your herd of children. Okay. So looking at that is a wagon. when you're buying a wagon, be sensitive to how much you could put in that wagon because you know that your 20s are going to have their best friends come over. You're going to throw them in there. And how cool is that when you're taking a walk to the playground with your singleton bestie and you're like, no, 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 you don't have to take your stroller. Throw your child in my stroller. It could accommodate pretty much the entire neighborhood. So that's what the Larktail wagon is going to be. Under that, we're looking at a jogging stroller. The only time you would ever get a jogging stroller is if you're an actual jogger. Please, I can't stand jogging strollers for 20s. And here's why. If you're going up and down curbs, you lose all the freaking stability because the front wheel is only one. So, like, think about it. If you're going up onto a curve, even say in Disney, all right, I'm now in Disneyland, Disney World, choose your favorite Disney, and I have to get onto a curb, or in New York City. When you pull your stroller back to kind of jack that front wheel up, when you jack it up to go onto the curb, you're on one frigging teeter-totter wheel. So no, I do not like this. I do not prefer them. But if you are a real jogger, like I've registered for my local marathon, I am one of those people that do CrossFit. I love you guys. I'm into it. That's who gets that. But if you're not going to be doing marathons, then maybe skip the jogging stroller. Okay. And if you're going to look at one, look at the Thule, Thule. It's the best. It really is. There's nothing on the market that compares to it. So if you're a real jogger, that's the one that you want. As far as Jasmine Jazz, there's like so many that I could tell you about. I definitely look at Valco. Valco is a company, they are a lesser known company, but they basically make the workhorses of strollers, worth every penny. Amanda G, I would 1,000,000% stay away from Silvercross because Silvercross, for whatever reason, has just ignored venting. So there's no peekaboo windows. There's no air like going through from the back to the front. I don't know what happened with Silvercross, but it shouldn't have been up to me to point that out to them. But yeah, they still don't have that. And I don't know why. But yes, some people do buy their Silvercross, and that is a little bit pricey. But look at Valco, see what they have right there, and then look at Baby Trend. And then who else would I really look at that made a good side by side? Uppa does actually make a good side by side, but their Vista just ruins it for me. Who else? The bubble ride Indy Twin, like legit. You could look at those. And then of course we know we need singleton strollers. Do you? It's really, really nice to have. It's really nice to have two single strollers. So if you have to take one baby back and forth to the doctor, I don't have to take a giant stroller. So registering, because that's what this class is about, hands down, I would register for at least one double stroller. So here we go. When choosing your stroller, all right, it really isn't as straightforward as I like this stroller, okay? Or I want this stroller. You really have to make sure that it is suitable, not just for your 20s, but for your home and for your lifestyle. What does that mean? That means that could grandma pick that up and put it in the trunk? I don't know. We got to find out, right? We have to look at things like that. Can it fit in my elevator? Do I live in a fancy pantsy building that is super duper old with one of those old elevator gates? Does it fit in there? Does it fit in the elevator if I turn it sideways? So not only do we have to measure the width, we have to measure the length of any place that we're going to put this. Where is it going to be folded? Okay, if you have to store it in the garage, is there room in the garage where you could keep it that is not in the trunk so that you could go on walks in the neighborhood, that your car isn't going to hit it, that your bicycle is not going to hit it, right? So like, tell me, like, you got to do all that homework. You can't just buy a stroller. Okay. The majority of twin families, and we've done surveys up the wazoo, but most twin families own at least 3 strollers. So they usually start with a double snap and go, which is what's viewed there. Then they have at least one single, and then they get a forever side by side. Okay. So out of all those strollers, which are the must-haves, the very, very, very must-have is the one that's in that picture, which is the double snap and go from Baby Trend. And you could get it brand new. I think it's under $200, which is really, really nice. You use your 2 car seats, and that's what the seats are, but it folds up and literally could fit underneath your bed. Like it's great. So definitely, hands down, our number one twin item. If there's nothing else that you buy, well, you have to buy your car seats and other stuff. But this one, that's the one that we love. And we've loved it since the dawn of time. It's the number one purchased twin product of twin families on Twiniversity. So whenever we do a survey any year, it's the number one item that I would say over like 65% of families end up buying, because the ease of it, you can't beat it. And yes, you can buy a tandem stroller that turns into a travel system, but why even do that when you could just have a basic metal frame with a really nice basket underneath and you have the car seats anyway that you're using? So just think about not only what you want because it's popular or trendy, but how are you going to use this and how are you going to use this in 6 months? And those are the items that you get added to your registry. Okay. So don't just think now. I know it's shiny now and I want you to have all the fancy stuff and I want you to have all the good stuff, but I do want to take advantage so that you guys don't have to spend money out of your pockets because you still have to buy diapers and wipes. There's no way that your baby shower is going to cover all that. And you still have to pay for college. And yeah, maybe one of them gets a full ride, but the other one, I'm not so sure. That's kind of the way it goes with 20s. So maybe one just is a little less. No, I'm only joking. Both of my kids did okay. All right, so this is what I was talking about. So back by popular demand, we're doing a 2-night class. This is before I stopped dyeing my hair. I hope you kind of like it. I'm embracing my old dog silver foxiness because I am just tired of it. So on July 15th and July 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern time, we will be live just like this in a Zoom setting. And we will be doing my set curriculum, which covers pregnancy, delivery day. We'll talk more about gear, like much, much more about gear. We'll do breastfeeding. We will do sleep. We will do pregnancy complications. We will do hospital bag packing. Like, honestly, it's a lot. It is a 2-night curriculum. Each class is 2 hours. So yes, it is 4 freaking hours, but it's specifically the only class in the country that will be live that is available just for twin families. Singletons are not welcome. Not that they're not welcome, bad choice of words. They're not going to need it. It's not for them. This is the one thing that we have. So once again, let's see. I'll put up the chat right there. Control V. There you go. That is it. We're just doing it live. We're not going to do it for another 6 months. So if you are delivering before 6 months, or you will be over 32 weeks in 6 months, then definitely, absolutely make sure that you register for this class. Okay. All right, going on to our next slide this is what I'm talking about. Amanda put this in there. So it's the real-time Q&A, live interaction with other families, which I really, really like. A lot of our twin families that make, when we used to do our live classes, because I've stopped for a year or two, but what they still connect. Like one of my Twiniversity team members, like I met in a live class back in the day before she had her 20s, and she still speaks to the other people in the live class, which I think is cool. So it's 3 hours. It's really 4 hours over 2 nights. And we have all the handouts. And I created a twin pregnancy journal that's for you guys, but it's anything that you need, and it will be me. And there's the picture of that silver fox. Damn, she's cute. All right. Okay. So I guess Amanda gave us $100 off, which literally I did not approve, but there you go. So apparently we're doing this and I'm just going to go with it. So yeah, so there you go. Scan that if you want. That's actually the coupon code. It may or may not have the $100. I'm not positive. I actually wasn't going to do the $100, to be very honest with you, because if we do that, I feel like we're going to get even more people. So grab that before the end of the night, because I am definitely taking that down at midnight if that is still going. And boom, boom, boom. It is our final game of the day. Guys, out of these people, who doesn't have twins? Okay. I want to know, out of those people that are there, who doesn't have twinnies? Not who does, but give me the letter or letters or all the letters of anybody who doesn't have twins. If you think it's more than one person, okay, or if you think it's 3 people, 5 people, 6 people, put that in your answer. If you think it's one person, put it in your answer like there. If you think it's multiple people, put it in your answer. If you think it's all the people there, put all the people there, say all of the above, but put your answers now. Boo doo 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 doo. Boo 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 boo. But why do I not sing? Boo 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 doo 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 doo. Boop 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 boop. Guys, do you know that not one of you has gotten this right? This is the first time in the history of Twiniversity that you have not gotten it right. So I'm going to go with the person who is closest. Kids, I really did it. I stumped you guys. I'm so excited right now. I totally set this up as a trap. You guys fell into it, and I'm so excited. Okay, I'm going to give you one more chance. There are three people that don't have 20s on this. Okay, three people that don't have 20s. Go in again. I can't believe it. I think I just saw it. Yes, Amanda, you got it. BENG. Kardashians, nobody's got twins there. So BE, Emma Stone doesn't have 20s. And G, he is a 20. And I tricked you. If you've never seen a picture of Ashton Kutcher's twin, he is actually a twin. Emma Stone, not a twin. So if you're wondering who the other people are, Nick Cannon, A, yes, he has twins. He has so many freaking kids. I truthfully believe I don't even want to tell you what I believe. I have a theory of why he has so many twins. Message me offline and I'll tell you my secret theory. Kardashians, of course, they'd want twins. They would love that. The person is C. Okay, he is a twin dad. And not only does he have twins, he's Scarface, by the way, guys, if you don't recognize him. He has his twins with Beverly D'Angelo, who is the mom Ellen in the movies The Griswolds, National Lampoons. The wife Ellen and him have a set of 20s. Julia Roberts had her 20s the same year as my 20s. My 20s are winning. Emma Roberts, Emma Stone, Emma Roberts, Emma Stone, I don't know which Emma that is. She's actually Julia Roberts, Emma Roberts. That's actually her niece, totally unrelated to the twin world. George Clooney had 20s, him and his chick, and then Ashton Kutcher is a 20. So congratulations, Amanda, you did it. Email us at community@twiniversity.com and we will get you a free class. I love that game. Guys, that was so fun. Yes, and please grab your Twin Ready registry if you don't have it now. But I did so great. I really, really, we had so much fun. Not that I did so great. I had such a good time with you guys. And I really hope that you learned a lot from this class. And I hope that you consider joining us for the live class. Anything that we do on a Monday, it's never a pitch to upsell you by any means, shape, or form, but it is a way that we tell you about what's kind of existing, especially the limited time stuff. But know that most Mondays, we have a class, whether it's this class or whether it's the boot camp or whether it is the delivery day boot camp. We have Twin Sleep School coming up soon. If you didn't take that, do. But register for all of the classes and know that I am in network with United Healthcare and Aetna. So if you would like to find out how you could work with me with literally no costs expense to you whatsoever, message us at community@twiniversity.com and we will give you all the information that you need. But lactation services are free within the United States. So just message us. Emily, if you want to see what class we have coming up, if you go to twiniversity.com, which I'm going to do right now to see if she updated it already. But if you go to twiniversity.com, at the top of it, there is always the first banner is the class that's coming up next. So our next one is our Twiniversity Boob Camp, which is happening on July 21st at 1 p.m. and it is 100% free. So if you are like, I need more information, I don't have a nickel to my name, I'm fine with that. Nobody here at Twiniversity is doing this to buy our kids Maseratis. We're doing it to change the world because there was truthfully, I worked in luxury African travel for the record. If you guys don't know my background, you're going to be like, who the hell is Nat and why is she doing this? I had a really, really, really great career, loved my job, loved everything. But once I heard that second heartbeat, it was the record scratch on my life. And I changed everything. And there's a saying from Gandhi that says, be the change you want in this world. And that is exactly what I did. So I changed my entire world to make sure that you guys do not have the same experience that I did, that your guys feel recognized, that you feel understood, that you're appropriately educated for a duo lifestyle, and that truthfully, you know that you are not alone because it was horrible having 20s before Twiniversity. And I'm not saying that because I'm the big cheese CEO. I'm saying it because it was a very isolating situation. And I live in the biggest city in the world. There is over 6 million people in New York City. And yet I will tell you, I felt 100% by myself. So Twiniversity is here for you. Yes, you will have the video link at the end of the day, but thank you so, so much for joining us. Email us at community@Twiniversity if you need anything. I am thrilled to help you in any way that we can. But until next time, guys, see you later, alligators, and thanks for watching.